Hi everyone, Greg Garcia here today, and today we'll be doing deploying Windows 7. The reason really for when using the Windows deployment services is basically deploying um, is used to put the OS on the different clients in an organization, and there are really two ways that this can be done. The first way is manually, where the network administrators or whoever is in charge of the network will have to manually go to every client and burn the DVDs or CDs onto the client so that they would have the operating system. And because of the organizations that we know are very large these days, it's quite easier to do it automatically, which is through using the Windows deployment services. So I'm going to show you how it's done. What you're going to do is go to your server and open your server manager. It is important that you have the Active Directory Domain Services and the DHCP server and DNS server on the server already installed. So we're going to just go to Add Roles, Next, click on Windows Deployment Services, Next as well. Make sure that these two are checked off, the deployment server and the transport server, and we would install. Okay, it shows that the Windows deployment services have been installed successfully. So I'll just close here. Okay, so we go to the Windows deployment services, which should be under roles, and go to servers. And we're going to just right click on this server here and configure the server. Alright, we just click next. Alright, this is just basically telling you where it's going to be installed, the path. And it's just also telling you that the volume selected in the Windows system, you probably should store it on a different disk space because of the size, but I'm just going to click continue for this program. Now it's important to click these two here, and the reason for that is that the DHCP tag 60 to all the DHCP scopes, it is necessary so that a booting PXE client can be notified when there's a listening PXE server on the network. That's the reason why you would have you would configure the DHCP option 60 to the PXE client, and you would also check off the do not on port 67 so that the booting clients can find the DHCP server on the network. So we're just gonna click next. Here is really where you're going to how you want. If you do not want to respond to any client, in that case you'll have to set it up separately. But for this exercise we're just going to respond to all known and unknown client computers, and we're going to click finish. Okay, it's saying that's successfully configured, but we're not going to add the images on the Windows deployment server now. Just click finish. Alright, so what is going to be the boot images and the install images, which will be a .wim file, and that is going to help us with the deployment. So what I'm going to do is just go to my desktop where I have the Windows 7 Ultimate saved, and I'm just going to mount mount a drive. Now you're going to go to my computer, and let me just open this up for you to see. And here's the drive that we mounted. If you go to there and you go to the sources, and just in the top corner here we just type .wim. These are basically the two files that you want to copy for the deployment, but in order for us to get it on the server itself, so we go to the devices, and just click on the series to the Windows 7 Ultimate ISO, and this will pop up. We just go to the view files or folders and go to sources, and we're just going to search for the .wim file, and we see both of them coming up here. We'll just shift and copy, and I'll just copy it to the desktop for now. Okay, this could take a while, so see you in a bit. Okay, so now that they're copied to the desktop, I'm just show you there. You're gonna go back to your server manager, and you're gonna go into the servers and go into boot images. Now you're just gonna right click and add install image. You create a new image group. We just leave it as image group 1. Next, we'll just browse for the file, which will be the install.wim. Open and then next and next as well, and it's basically starting to install the images, which could take a while as well, so I'll just pause for a bit. Okay, now that the install images, we just go to the boot images folder, and we just right click and add a boot image. The same basically as the install image. Go to the boot.wim, open your file, press next, next. This as well takes a while, so we'll be back as soon as it's finished installing. Okay, so after we have added the image, install the image and the boot images as well to the server, what we need to do, well, before we go to the VirtualBox Manager, you should download the you could just Google the VirtualBox, download the old builds, the VirtualBox 4.1, and download I use the 4.1.2 all platforms. What it is for is for the PXE boot. The normal VirtualBox doesn't come with it, so you need to do so in order for it to boot from the network when you're trying to deploy the Windows 7. Alright, so what you need to do is go to after you've downloaded it, you could just go to the settings over the server, and you just want to make sure that there's compatibility with the new client that you're creating. So you'll just go to the network and make sure that it's set to the internal network. You can see the adapter type here. Let's change that for the PXE boot. Alright, so we just go to new, next, just name it Win7 test, next, and we'll create. Alright, right before them you just go to the settings just to make sure the compatibility with the server, and as soon as it loads, we're just going to go to the network and make sure that these settings are the same basically for the network, and we'll just change this to internal network. Go to advanced, just allow all. Alright, we're gonna go to the system and change the boot order from the network and just move it up to the top so that it will boot from the network. Alright, we just power on here, cancel. Right. So once it goes through the DHCP, it's going to prompt you. You press F12, and it basically goes to the IP address and finds the boot file and image and starts installing it. So I'll just pause here for a bit until it starts the installation. Okay, so we're back into the installation. We're just going to click next here, and the password is going to be the same password that I logged in on the server side. Press OK, Alright, this is the operating systems that you want to install. Just click next. Next as well for this. And this as well could take a while, so I'll be back in a bit when the installation has been completed. Okay, so we're just going through the installation. Just name it anything. Next, password. Just type anything. Oh, sorry, the passwords don't match. Doesn't matter. Just click next here. Accept the license terms. Use the recommended settings. Next. Just put for public network. And just pause again. Okay, so this is what the installation looks like. If you go to the Open Networks and Sharing Center, just find one thing here for you to just show you one thing here. Right. So if you go in here, you'll see that it is DHCP enabled. The IPv4 address. Well, this is the lease that was given to it by the server. It gave it 60, and the default gateway and everything here that we see responds with the server. And that really is how you deploy Windows.